Welcome to the Principal Podcast, where we talk about how the best professional services firms grow. Whether you're looking to scale your firm or learn from the stories of founders and leaders who've done it, you're in the right place. Join us as we interview the best leaders in professional services. Let's get on with the show.
This afternoon, we're fortunate enough to have Anne McGhee-Stinson, the CEO and founder of InteraWorks, a very interesting company who specializes in a unique service that they provide for companies to really try to get them to be more cohesive, but more importantly, really figure out what's happening, break down those challenges, and then provide the type of service that make those companies thrive. So I'm not going to take much more of telling my story about Anne. I'm going to let Anne tell her story to us. So Anne, thank you for being here. Tell us a bit about how InteraWorks came about and your journey to create this product.
You bet. And thank you so much. And just to be clear, I'm managing partner of InteraWorks. My business partner, Lori Oswald, is CEO, but I'm also a founder and co-owner, not only of this organization, but several organizations. But today we're talking about InteraWorks.
Fabulous.
And, the way I came to be in professional services and specifically leadership development and adult education was a long and weird and winding road that started when I was a 19-year-old and took a summer trip to Germany and decided that I loved living and working in Europe. And I ended up working for one of the American universities that was based in Europe. And I ended up spending about 8 years in southern Germany, and then the university that I worked for transferred me to Japan, and I spent another year in the Pacific Far East. But that was my introduction to adult education because the universities were offering degree programs to our active duty military who were stationed overseas at the time. And I just had a passion for seeing people, first of all, people on purpose, people who were mission-oriented and purpose-oriented, and InteraWorks is certainly that. And then seeing people fulfill on their own individual purpose and really filling, a calling that they may have for whatever it is. And that's where I started. Now, many, many years later, as co-owner, as I said, and managing partner of InteraWorks, we offer programs, not degree programs, but adult training and development, learning and development for corporate clients globally. So we have people all over the world who are doing our work and participating with InteraWorks. It's a great joy.
When you were in southern Germany, were you down in Bavaria area?
I was, yes, just outside of Nuremberg. So, love Bavaria.
Beautiful country, great food, and beautiful scenic sites there. Then where were you in Asia? Were you in Japan, you said?
I was in Japan, and more specifically Okinawa, Japan.
So it's military-oriented, right?
Also, at that time, military-oriented, working with active duty service members who were taking adult education classes and coaching. That's where I started learning how to coach and guide people toward fulfilling, what was most important to them, what matters most.
So when you look at the companies that you work with, what problems are you looking to analyze exist? And then how do you solve those? But more importantly, why is that important to you, Anne?
Yeah, well, the complexity that we live in today is, top of mind, I think, for many organizations. And that complexity comes in lots of different flavors, doesn't it? I mean, it comes in terms of volatility and uncertainty and, economic, political, you name it, technological. So what InteraWorks is known for is helping people to access their capacity. And capacity is what is needed in volatile times, and is certainly, the capacity to think more clearly, emotional capacity to navigate uncertainty. So our flagship program is a program called Effective Edge, which we've been doing for more than 30 years inside large and small corporations. And that program is designed to help people access their capacity, because the truth is that getting organized, especially when you have high volume incoming, high volume email. A lot of our clients have 300, 400, 500 email a day.
Wow.
High volume meetings, high volume, everything. The ability to get and stay organized is paramount, and that's what our flagship program does.
All right. So it takes a person who's got a calendar of not only incoming, a whole bunch of electronic communication, but has scheduled meetings at 8, 9, 10. Oh my gosh, I got a break till 10:30. Then 10:30 all the way through the rest of the day. They may have 30 minutes to an hour of breathing space to be organized and to put things together. And that can create chaos in their ability to execute because there's not enough time between stacked on meetings. I mean, I talk to companies about this a lot, and I go, you never want to have back to back to back to back. If you can, at all possible, give yourself a 10 to a 15-minute slice of breathing room to figure out, did I get done what I needed to get done? What do I need to do before my next meeting? So I'm not feeling I'm always chasing. I'm a little bit caught up. They don't get ahead sometimes, but caught up. Is that some of the challenges you're facing?
Absolutely, Dennis, and wise words, right? So when does work get done?
Yeah.
In that environment. And many of our clients it's a habit, and I can understand how it gets developed, but they're managing out of their inbox. So how do you determine what a priority is when you've got, several thousand emails? And so our primary work is to help them develop the habits and the
Okay.
system, individual system that they manage from their own laptop to, first of all, be able to know what their true priorities are.
Okay.
And then secondly, to be able to manage, because that's not going to stop. The
No.
meetings aren't going to stop. The incoming
Mm-mm.
isn't going to stop. The changing priority isn't going to stop. So how do we learn the habits to be able to manage through that
And to get ahead, yeah,
and to
if
get ahead,
possible.
and then not to take it home? So
Okay.
because that is primarily what happens at the end of the day in that environment, is then we go home at night or go back to our offices after dinner and do the real work of the day. So that's very
And
cost.
it's got to be also very fulfilling if you can help someone figure out how to manage that process even a little bit more efficiently. But it would be difficult at times, I would imagine, to put metrics, which everyone wants to do, and measure how was that successful? How do you show that performance improvement?
Well, we're experts at that. So
Okay.
we've
Good.
done this work long enough, and we have metrics stacked to the ceiling. And you can find some of those metrics in case studies on
Okay.
our website. And
Okay.
I can cite a few. You know, Overall, we see that people using our work, and I'm talking about just that one program, Effective
Mm-hmm.
Edge,
Right.
are recapturing 11 hours a week. So
Wow.
that now,
Almost,
because 11 hours a week, and that's on
it's a full
average.
work day. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. That's a start. But then what do you do with that 11 hours a week? What's most important to you? And we teach people to, make those choices and decisions before. So because if you have 11 hours a week and have the same habit, you're just going to go back to, spending 11 extra hours a week on email. That's not what we want. So we define productivity as connecting your time and
Okay.
attention to what matters most. It's not about getting more things done. That's
And
an
that, and you,
outdated definition.
yeah, what matters most could be when they get done and they go home after dinner, they actually spend time with their partner or their family. That could be the key component that makes them more productive the next day when they come into work, because there's harmony at home. And that's a very valid point that people should be looking at more. I think the combination of both professional and personal life. So with that being said, I know you and I had spoken previously in a discussion we had about coherence in a company. Define what you mean by that.
Yeah, wow. Coherence is such a complex term, but I think we can define it quite practically. And we're very interested in practicality. So coherence is when everything is operating in sync. So our priorities, our calendar, our tasks, our time, our attention, our energy, our team is all operating in sync and moving together in a rhythm. And I think most leaders have experienced times of coherence where there's a flow and people, regardless of the resources that are available. So sometimes we think it's all about more resources, and not always. It's not always about resources. It's about synchronizing the resources that are available to you and moving in the same direction in a beautiful, energetic flow that gets results. So that would be an easy definition of coherence that I think works.
Well, with that being said, so now you have to look at companies that you want to work with, analyze what they're currently doing. I imagine once they engage with you to come in and do a evaluation, what's the time frame it takes for you to be able to look at something and determine a program or a plan to start to turn things around once you start to work with a company?
Well, gosh, that goes anywhere from immediately to like,
It was obvious, right?
yeah, it's obvious. And we don't, it's not organizational development that we do, it's learning and development. So we have easy ways to engage, including we can do a one-on-one with an executive who wants a taste of the program, which is a powerful way, because then we get to learn about that organization and that leader. And that is often the way we tend to do rollouts. People can take a program online, a virtual program, one day, and experience that program, Effective Edge. And we have other programs, but that program is offered virtually online. Or sometimes, they just pull us in and have us work with an entire team. For example, if they're initiating a new project or a new initiative and they need that coherence in a team, they need everybody pulling together, and they know that people are struggling with overwhelm or, back-to-back meetings and, the common complaint in most organizations today. We just come in and help them clear the decks so that they get a fresh start and that team can organize around a new operating rhythm.
I know that can't be an overnight fix. So if you've got a team, we'll do a hypothetical for a dialogue here of 10 people trying to get together to do a project. They could be from the same department. They could be departments interacting now that have never interacted before. So that that immediate coherence may not exist. So you've got to look at what they're doing, try to figure out where there could be obstacles or roadblocks, and then put together something for them all to be in unison and have that coherence. Are we talking weeks for that to come together?
We're not, because coherence, I believe, is something that is the natural state of teams when they're not hindered by distractions and fragmented focus. So fundamentally, we don't add on, we take things away so that people eliminate all of these distractions, give people a system that enables them to focus on their true priorities and a way to implement it day by day, week by week. Now, sometimes we might come in and we might help that organization or that team develop what we call, communication protocols, like when to send an email and when is an email inappropriate, not going to, communicate what you want to communicate or in the way you want to communicate. So we'll do a whole thing on communication protocols if that's appropriate. We may do some additional work on meeting protocols, how to conduct meetings in such a way that it doesn't have to be an hour, agenda-driven, decision-driven. Sometimes we'll even create what we call rhythm of the business, which is the cadence of meetings throughout the year, so that
Okay.
the one-on-ones that organizational leaders need to have, they have. The team meetings that they need to have, they have. But those are longer engagements. Our primary work, that flagship program, is one day. We leave teams and leaders with the tools, the processes, and the follow-up that they can implement on their own. They don't need us because it's so simple and so effective and so powerful.
What's interesting is you're trying to break habits of people that have historically done their way of communication, meetings, how they've run their business. And now you're coming in and with Effective Edge and or your guys that are experts, giving them structure. Is there software included or is it just the guidance?
It's the guidance, and we work on whatever software you're using on your computer. So a lot of times it's Microsoft Outlook. That's where people spend 200 million Microsoft Outlook users. Many of them are our clients. But if it's on Gmail or any other program, we can do it just as easily. Most of those programs have features and functions. The difference is that we don't get distracted by the bells and whistles in that technology.
Okay.
Again, we strip away what is non-essential and we only focus on features and functions that are going to serve your focus, your productivity, and building your capacity. And then, Dennis, if I may, there's another program that I want to mention because you asked about software. So Effective Edge is the capacity builder. Right. But my question then is, when you have capacity, how do you direct that capacity and how do you know what matters most?
Right.
So our second flagship program is called Best Year Yet. And Best Year Yet has been around for 40 years. And Best Year Yet is a simple, again, one-day program that enables individuals and teams to go through a very simple process to come to what matters most, to answer that question. What are the top, no more than 10, but what are the top 10 priorities that we as a team or I as an individual want to accomplish this year? This year, we just launched an app. So Best Year Yet for the not the first time, but we updated our app. So it's a web-based program that you can do individually, anytime, or as a team with a coach, one of our coaches or one of our facilitators. But you don't need one of our facilitators. You can buy the Best Year Yet app on your own, and the app is designed to take you through that program as an individual.
So you got Effective Edge, Best Year Yet, and you've got your team.
Yes.
If I'm looking to hire or work with you from a marketing point of view, how do you get to companies and or how do you reach individuals? What's the best distribution to get your name out there?
Yeah. Well, no surprise, referrals, referrals, referrals. So as I said, we've had clients that have been with us for 30 plus years, and big clients. Microsoft has been with us for 30 years. Dell, Honeywell, Lockheed Martin, Whole Foods. I can, we have
big corporations. Good
yeah,
job.
and also smaller organizations where it can have just an even more powerful impact when you have a small group all working together. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we're all over LinkedIn. So you can find InteraWorks on LinkedIn, on Facebook. We have also case studies, as I mentioned, on our website. So if you go to interaworks.com, INTERA.com, and visit our case study page, you'll see some of those statistics and ROI that I mentioned earlier. We do lots of events. So we have, keynote speakers that go out and attend all kinds of conferences. We've been invited several years in a row to speak at the National Homeland Security Conference, not because we're experts in security, but because
Mm-hmm.
we're experts in focus and priorities and, productivity.
Yeah, industries that have any at all, which is the majority of our world, that disengagement that we've talked about before, and or want that coherence in place, they would be a good audience, I would think, for what you do. And
Yes.
then you're at a point of your capacity. How many more clients can you take on when you have the big companies who probably take up a lot of time? A smaller company comes in. So from contact to a customer, when they reach out, to when you work with them, what's that selling cycle kind of like when they agree to have you come in?
Yeah, well, I think the big organizations probably 6 months is what we would say would be the selling cycle.
Okay.
And because it can take, quite some time to go through the discovery process and really find the fit. And
That's
then
what I
we've
would
got
think.
MSAs and, contracts and so on. Because that can take a little bit more time, it's important that we keep those clients. So, so we pay particular attention not only to acquiring new clients, but maintaining the client base that we have because they're so precious.
That's what I was going to ask is my next
Mhm.
question. You just led right into it. What is your retention strategy? Obviously, a satisfied client's not going to leave you, but there could be change in personnel. It could be a new decision maker who comes in and they go, well, we really don't need that. We've already had it for a while. We're going to try something different.
Mhm.
How do those issues pop up and how do you keep your clients?
Well, add value is the first thing. So we have a lot of free resources. We
Okay.
have blogs, newsletters, free content, white papers, all available on our website. And we make that available, a lot of free resources so
Okay.
that those, say, new leaders, they have, their names are, they're up and I know they want to make a difference. So what we've learned is that once once they get their feet on the ground and have had a look around, they will find that what we provide is true value, that we document the ROI and that we continue to add value. Now, sometimes, you know, the leader that they replaced will take us with them to their new
Correct.
organization. That happens a lot. And I think it's important to meet a client where they are. So always, if they're available to have a conversation with us, we want to hear, what are your priorities?
Hmm.
What's important to you right now? Meet them where they are. And we don't try to force a solution on anybody because we know that won't work. But
No, will
sometimes just
backfire.
the discovery process alone for that new leader is really powerful for them. So just asking questions and listening can be a service by itself. So we pay particular attention to doing deep discovery.
Wonderful. So with that being said, so you have your clients, you retain a high percentage, I would imagine, because of the way you guys add value and do other things that you just mentioned. Um, Sweet spot for you guys as you expand. So if you look at 2026 and going into 27 and probably for the rest of this decade into 2030, what are your expansion plans, and how do you plan on growing when you have you and your co-partner, you guys can only be so many places.
Yeah.
Tell me about your staff and how do you plan on expanding?
Well, we expand as needed. So we have an extraordinary team, and and when we know that there is expansion on the horizon, first of all, I think we have prepared exactly for this time.
Okay,
The
good.
complexity that organizations we're so ready for this
You're
time.
well
And
positioned.
we are so well positioned. We've got team that is trained, that is passionate, that is experienced, that is ready to go. And when we need to, in answer to your question, we add more team members.
Okay.
We have, I don't want to sound arrogant about this, but we do have potential team members sort of lined up and ready to go, because occasionally we'll have a little bubble, do a rollout, a worldwide rollout, and then that goes for a year and then it contracts again. So like any business, there's an expansion
Sure.
and contraction,
Mm-hmm.
but our relationships with our team members is such that they keep coming back to us when we need them.
Are they
Um,
independent contractors or are they employees?
both. So we have a team of about 35. And it's been more than that, but they're based worldwide. So we have team members that have been with us for 10, 15 years or more,
Okay.
in Europe, in Asia, all over the United States, Mexico. So we've got team members all over the place, and we keep in touch with them because we honor and value their contribution to what we're able to do.
When you look at expansion for you guys, is there a market that you're looking to grow in, hypothetically, like Australia or New Zealand or in Africa or in South America, that you're currently not in?
That's a great question. I would say not really. What we're looking for really, it's not an industry specific. It's any industry that employs people.
Right. So it sounds like.
Industrial to high tech, any industry that employs people and wants people to develop their capacity to focus on what matters most. I would say more than anything, we're looking for organizations with a degree of readiness. Like they know the complexity. They know that people need some capacity to be able to navigate the complexity that's here and the complexity that's coming. And so I'd say more than anything, it's organizations who are really ready.
Okay. And which leads me to my last and final questions. Our 30 minutes has just gone through in a heartbeat, Ann, and I've really enjoyed this. AI is obviously a potential stressor, one that can be, if properly utilized, a great and wonderful tool. If it is a potential that creates conflict or, as you had said, disengagement, which I love that word, how do you navigate through that? And that probably opens up more opportunity for you guys to come in and help companies because of the potential chaos. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, again, I want to, AI is all new and AI is nothing new. It's
There you go.
technology. And we've worked with technology for all of these years. What we've learned is to use technology as a tool. For its highest and best use is that we control the technology. It does not control us. And that if used appropriately, and we have some really good ideas on the effective utilization of AI, in particular, in conjunction with Effective Edge, and also we're using AI in the Best Year Yet program to, help people sort through what is your most important priority. I would say AI, fabulous tool, fabulous, incredible potential. And it's a tool. I think the best guidance that I've seen so far on the effective use of AI is a book called The AI-Driven Leader. I can't remember the author's name, but it really positions AI as just what I said, a tool to support what matters most to us, as opposed to something that is going to be a task master, for us instead. So the AI-driven leader is a really excellent resource.
Good. Well, thank you for referencing that. Hopefully anyone who's listening will be able to look that up and find out about it. It sounds like it's some meeting along what you guys do and how you can help people navigate through this. So when you look at what we discussed here today, and it's a lot of stuff, and you guys are doing things that I think the fact you can measure it and get back those up to 11 hours a week was the one thing that stands out for me in this conversation. I think everyone would like to have 10 hours a week back if they could have that efficient utilization of their time. So you guys contributing to that and being able to measure it, I think it's one of the reasons why InteraWorks is a fascinating company, and you guys have created something very special. So Anne, would you please share with everyone how they best can reach you guys, whether it be through you directly or through anyone in your company? What's the best method to reach InteraWorks?
Well, I would visit our website first and foremost to learn more about our programs. As I said, there's a lot of free resources there. And that website is www.interaworks.com. I'll spell it. InteraWorks.com. InteraWorks.com. There are blogs there, newsletters, white papers, more information about the programs, the case studies, which lists not only that one ROI that you mentioned, but many others, and all of the different programs that we offer.
And it's been a pleasure. You have a wonderful rest of your day, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you,
It was wonderful having a good conversation. You have a great day, Anne.
I appreciate you as well. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Principal Podcast. We hope you've learned valuable lessons and strategies to grow your firm and take your business to the next level. Make sure to subscribe and leave us a review wherever you're listening to this show so you never miss an episode. To apply and be a guest on the show, click the link in the description. See you next time.